What if I told you there are 20 simple foods sitting in Amish pantries right now that most of us have completely forgotten about, yet they can last for years, cost next to nothing, and feed a whole family in a pinch? These aren't trendy health foods or expensive freeze-dried packs. They're time-tested staples that help generations survive harsh winters without a single trip to the store. While most modern pantries are packed with processed snacks and short shelf life items, the Amish quietly stockpile these humble power foods that stretch your grocery budget and never go to waste. Dried beef. Dried beef in glass jars lines many Amish pantries like shelves in a butcher's vault. Made from salted, air-dried slices of beef, it's packed without refrigeration and lasts over a year. Unlike store-bought deli meat that spoils in days, this version resists mold and bacteria thanks to the salt cure. A few strips chopped into gravy can stretch a meal to feed 6. It saves an average family $10.15 per month by replacing costly sliced meats. Amish cooks learned to rely on it when ice boxes were scarce and meat had to last through winter. Parched corn. Parched corn is roasted in cast iron until it pops and cracks, then stored in linen bags or jars. It's not just a snack, it softens in soup, grinds into cornmeal, or can be chewed like trail mix. The roasting removes moisture, letting it keep for months without spoiling. A single bushel of dried corn makes nearly 10 pounds of parched corn, costing less than $4 total. Amish families often prepare it in the fall, when wood stoves run daily, turning heat into food security. Pickled watermelon rinds. Pickled watermelon rinds sit quietly on Amish shelves, their sweet tart flavor hiding in reused glass jars. Instead of tossing the rinds, they're peeled, brined with vinegar, sugar, and cloves, then canned. The result is a crunchy, tangy side dish that costs almost nothing to make. One watermelon can yield 3 full pints of pickles from the part most folks throw away. Amish cooks say it's proof you can turn waste into worth and extend harvest flavor into the coldest months. Beaten biscuits. Beaten biscuits, hard, dense, and made without yeast, are stacked in tins and stored for weeks. They're pounded with a mallet until air pockets form, which helps preserve them naturally. Unlike soft rolls, they resist mold and can be reheated or eaten with jam and butter. A batch of 30 costs under $2 to make and keeps longer than store-bought bread. Amish households often bake these during busy harvest seasons when time and storage space are both tight. Sorghum syrup. Sorghum syrup, darker and thicker than honey, is poured into reused syrup bottles and tucked away like liquid gold. Made from sorghum cane boiled down in outdoor kettles, it stores for years without spoiling. It replaces molasses in baking and sweetens everything from cornbread to beans. 1 quart goes a long way, lasting a family a month or more, and costs less than $5 when homemade. Amish families say a spoonful adds warmth to both food and memory. Canned pumpkin. Canned pumpkin stored in glass jars after harvest is an Amish favorite because it's versatile and lasts well through the winter. Instead of buying canned pumpkin at the store, Amish cooks make their own from homegrown pumpkins, preserving the rich flavor without any additives. It can be used in pies, soups, or even breads, stretching a single pumpkin into multiple meals. 1 pumpkin yields about 6 to 8 cups of puree, enough for at least 2 months of meals. Homemade canned pumpkin costs under $3, while store-bought is often double that. Dried beans. Dried beans, stored in burlap sacks or glass jars, are a staple in every Amish kitchen. They are inexpensive to buy in bulk and can be soaked overnight and cooked in a slow simmer to make hearty, filling meals. Dried beans can be transformed into soups, stews, or even bean burgers, providing weeks of meals for less than $5. A 2-pound bag of dried beans yields approximately 10 cups of cooked beans, enough to feed a family for several days. Amish families often buy them in large quantities during harvest time to save even more. Sauerkraut. Fermented cabbage or sauerkraut is one of the oldest Amish pantry staples, valued for its ability to preserve vegetables for months. The process involves salting the shredded cabbage, then letting it ferment in a cool, dark place. Sauerkraut not only keeps well, but also boosts your gut health with its natural probiotics. A single cabbage can yield 4 to 5 pints of sauerkraut, costing under $2. Amish households often rely on sauerkraut throughout the winter, adding it to meats, soups, or even using it as a side dish to stretch meals. Root vegetables. Root vegetables like carrots, potatoes, and turnips are often stored in sand-filled crates or cool cellars, lasting through the winter months without refrigeration. Amish families don't rely on refrigeration. Instead, they use the natural preservation of these hardy veggies. A sack of potatoes, stored properly, can last up to 6 months, providing a steady food source for the family. This practice can save up to $20 per month in fresh produce, while also ensuring the family has vegetables year-round without the need for constant restocking. Homemade applesauce. Every autumn, Amish families make applesauce from their homegrown apples, preserving it for the colder months. This homemade version is far cheaper than store-bought jars, which can cost $3 or more. A bushel of apples can yield 10 to 12 jars of applesauce for less than $10, saving at least $25 a year for a family who would otherwise buy it. Plus, it's all natural with no added preservatives, making it a healthier and cost-effective option for desserts or snacks. Canned tomatoes. Instead of relying on store-bought cans, Amish families preserve their tomatoes in glass jars each summer. After harvesting, they peel, chop, and can them with a little salt and water. 1 bushel of tomatoes yields about 12 to 14 quarts, and each quart costs about $2 to make, compared to store-bought, which can run as high as $5. Canned tomatoes are a versatile pantry item for sauces, soups, and stews, saving at least $30 over the season, while keeping food fresh without preservatives. Dried apples. Dried apples are one of the most practical Amish pantry staples. After harvesting, they slice apples, dry them using the sun or in a homemade dehydrator, and store them in jars. This simple method helps preserve the fruit for months, turning a 10-pound bag of apples into enough dried apples to last the entire winter. Dried apples cost about $4 to make, whereas store-bought dried fruit can cost up to $15 for the same amount. Amish families save as much as $10 a month by making their own, and they can use them in pies, oatmeal, or as a snack. Homemade jam. Amish pantries are full of homemade jams made from their own fruit trees. Whether it's strawberry, peach, or raspberry, they rely on the natural sweetness of fruit to create preserves without artificial additives. A bushel of strawberries, costing about $10, will yield at least 10 jars of jam, each worth $3 at the store. This means a family saves around $20 per year by making their own jam, plus they can use it as a topping for bread, yogurt, or desserts all year long. It's a simple, cost-effective way to sweeten the pantry. Canned pears. Amish families never let a good harvest go to waste, especially when it comes to pears. After picking, they peel, slice, and can the fruit in a light syrup, preserving the sweet flavor for months. A bushel of pears can make up to 20 quarts of canned fruit, costing around $12, while store-bought canned pears can run up to $2 per quart. By canning their own, Amish households save at least $28 over the season. Plus, the homemade version is free of preservatives and tastes fresher, making it a favorite for desserts and snacks year-round. Cornmeal. Cornmeal, a staple in Amish kitchens, is ground from locally grown corn and stored in airtight containers to keep it fresh. Amish families stockpile enough to last through the winter, as it can be used for cornbread, grits, or even to thicken soups. A 5-pound bag of cornmeal costs just $2, and it can last a family for several months. Cornmeal is not only affordable but versatile, saving families around $15 each month by reducing the need for more expensive baking ingredients. Pickled beets. Amish kitchens often feature pickled beets, which are a simple yet effective way to preserve the vegetable for months. After boiling and peeling, beets are pickled in a vinegar and sugar solution, then stored in jars. 1 bushel of beets can yield 12 to 15 pints of pickled beets, costing around $10 to prepare, while store-bought can cost $3 per pint. This practice not only saves money but also provides a colorful, nutritious addition to winter meals, saving families at least $30 annually. Molasses. Homemade molasses is a kitchen secret Amish families rely on for baking and sweetening dishes. Made by boiling down sugarcane or sorghum syrup, this rich, dark syrup is stored in large glass jars. Amish cooks use it in everything from baked goods to savory marinades, stretching the pantry budget with its deep flavor. A gallon of homemade molasses costs about $10 to make, while store-bought molasses can run up to $25 for the same amount. Families save upwards of $15 a year, and the homemade version is free from artificial sweeteners. Canned green beans. While green beans are easy to grow in the Amish garden, they are also a food that needs to be preserved for winter. After harvesting, beans are canned in glass jars, keeping them fresh and ready for soups, casseroles, or side dishes. A bushel of green beans costs about $10 to preserve, yielding 12 to 14 quarts, while store-bought canned beans can cost as much as $3 per quart. By canning their own, Amish families save at least $30 annually on canned vegetables. Jellied cranberries. Every fall, Amish families prepare jellied cranberries, turning the tart fruit into a sweet and tangy preserve. After cooking the cranberries with sugar and pectin, they can it for winter use, making it a perfect holiday side dish. One bag of fresh cranberries can yield 8 to 10 jars of jellied cranberries for under $5, while store-bought versions cost up to $2 per jar. This simple preserve saves families at least $15 per season, and it's a favorite addition to holiday meals. Sweet potatoes. Sweet potatoes are another root vegetable commonly found in Amish pantries. After harvest, Amish families store them in cool, dry places, allowing them to last through the winter months. A sack of sweet potatoes can cost as little as $5 and last for months when properly stored. By relying on homegrown, stored sweet potatoes, Amish families save up to $25 a year compared to buying fresh sweet potatoes regularly from the store. By bringing these forgotten Amish pantry tricks back into your own kitchen, you can save a lot more than you might think. These simple, time-tested methods aren't just about cutting costs, they're about making the most of what you already have. When you follow these traditional practices, you're not only preserving food, but also preserving the kind of resourcefulness that can help you save money every day. If you bring these habits back into your life, you can make your kitchen more efficient, your meals more satisfying, and your budget a lot healthier. It's a small change with a big impact.